Pandemic. Thank you for joining my channel. Today we are going to be doing a critique of a video by the Dadvocate. I love the Dadvocate. I think she's fantastic. Let me get that out right away. I think she's smart. I think she's got a good grasp of relationships between men and women. Reason why I'm critiquing is because there's a video she has commented on from a while back. How long ago was this? 3 days ago, which I don't agree with her on. I don't disagree with what she's saying. What she's saying is the truth. But because she's American, I'm American, because she's American, she has a different way of looking at things. I live in the UK. I've been here almost 16 years combined. Retired U.S. Air Force, been military for 23 years, and I've been all over the world. I've seen different ways of things being done. And America and the way the police behave around the citizenry and the way the citizenry is now used to the police behavior, it is shocking to me. It is truthfully baffling how out of control police behavior is legally and how much lack of control citizens have over their own, what's quote unquote rights when having to deal with police officers. And that's what this video is about. I want to say right off the bat, I am not condoning ill behavior around police. We live in a world we live in. Be respectful. It'll be addressed in here. Be the plant. You'll get it. What I'm also saying is make sure you're smart about not only what your rights are, but what they should be. I understand it's like the law is the law. The judicial system isn't about truth. Truth is great. Truth is a secondary, if not a tertiary thing within our modern judicial system. When you go to court and you have to plead and fight your side, it is a debate. That's what you do inside a court. You don't show the truth and the truth wins. No, it is the court system is a system of right and wrong. It's a system of debate. It is not a system of correct. So we have to understand that when lawyers go in and talk, the truth is a tool they use, but it is not the lead horse, in the wagon. It is just a tool. The winner is the one that debates the best. So what I am saying, why am I rambling on a little bit? It's because when you deal with police officers, you have to know what should and should not have occurred. We're going to watch this here, and I'm going to go through and show you what's legal and what's right as far as the law, and then also what's correct and how, whether or not you win a case or you have to go to court or whatever, understand the best way of handling it and what actually happened that went right and wrong. So let's just get into it. There you go. All right.
License. Alonso Luna. My last name is Luna. You know what? My dad isn't my actual dad.
Get out of the car.
Are you happy? No, I'm not getting out of the car. No, I'm not.
You're going to.
Oh my God. What the
You are going?
What the Try and get it on video. Try and get it on video.
I'm getting it on video.
Get it on video. Get it on video.
These people have tasers. They're trained in how to use them. Why do you think
This is a
they
prequel, so I'm not really
won't
commenting
use
on this.
them? When the cop tells you to get out of the car, I don't understand why people say, no, I'm not. This is our next entry to the F around and find out Olympics, okay? One thing I always stress, if you are in a situation where you are involved with officers of the law, the absolute best thing that you can do is be non-emotive, to be
100%.
a potted plant, to be
Yes.
as calm and cooperative as you possibly can,
Yep.
because like cops or hate them, they do have tasers and guns.
And this is why I knew that Dadvocate was most likely an American, because I'm not going to be calm around a police officer because they have weapons. Almost my entire adult life, I've been trained to use and have used weapons. It's what I did as part of my job in the military. So I'm completely comfortable around somebody carrying a firearm. I don't expect them to just use it. And I'm sure as hell not going to be afraid of them because they have it, because that puts the wrong message to the citizenry. We need to respect cops because of tasers, because of their firearms. Now, I know Dadvocate wasn't going this deep into it and didn't mean it really like that. She just said, hey, these people are in a position of authority and they got things that can hurt you. Totally get it. But I'm not going to be respectful to them because of that. I'm respectful because I'm a respectful adult and I try to keep my wits about me. But cops don't get a pass. If I was carrying a weapon around, let's say I was carrying a legal weapon, I was allowed to open carry, and I came across Dadvocate who wasn't. Should she treat me any different because I have a weapon? It's a power play, isn't it? Yeah, it's not right.
I really don't understand why people choose to FAFO with police officers. So this is the case of a woman named Samantha Alonzo Luna, who was simply a passenger in a vehicle, wasn't even involved in the initial confrontation.
She should have shut up.
Okay? If you're ever in a situation where your friend is being confronted by the police, I promise you it is not going to help your friend to start arguing with the cops, because if you do, this might happen.
When I asked your last name, then you should have told me.
That is my last name. Samantha Luna is my last name.
What's on your license?
Alonzo Luna. My last name is Luna. You know what? My dad isn't my actual dad.
Get out of the car.
Are you happy? No, I'm not getting out of the car. No, I'm not.
You're going to jail.
Oh my God. What the
You are going?
What the Try get it on video. Try get it on video. Get it on video. Get it on video. What the
Lady cops do not play.
I'm getting it on video. To jail. You don't get to resist.
I told you my license number, you crazy.
Her mouth
I
ain't
do wish
helping
we
her.
could have gotten the full video.
I do too.
The full
I
one
really
had
do
a
too.
bit more to the lead up as far as her talking back to the police officer. Because here's the thing. Typically, if one person is pulled over or addressed by police, they don't typically, ID every single person that is in their party. All right. I actually remember specifically one time I was driving home, all of my then boyfriends very drunk and stoned and otherwise inebriated friends from a party, and I was completely sober, but I did end up getting pulled over for speeding. Okay, that doesn't happen very often, but it happened this particular time. And I told all of these guys exactly what I told you now. I told them then. I was like, listen, pretend to be asleep. Just do not say a word. Let me handle this. I talked to the cops. I was like, look, these guys are all freaking wasted. I'm taking them home to the same address. We're all just trying to get them back safe, and then I'm dropping them off and I'm going home. I'm completely sober, but none of them are. Okay. The cop ended up letting me go and did not end up IDing any of the rest of them. And thank God, because as soon as I drove off, they all start speaking up. One of them was like, damn, I'm so glad they didn't ID me because I got a warrant. I'm like, bitch, what? The other one goes, yeah, I got part of an 8-ball on me. I'm like, oh my God. Like, the way that my life could have been completely different if I would have let any of these freaking assholes talk. Like, I got to go home that night.
Yeah.
If any single one of them was like, leave her alone, you motherfucker, like, we'd all be so screwed. Okay? So I cannot stress enough. If someone's handling it, dude, let them handle it. You do not go ahead and get yourself involved. Yeah.
That's 100% correct. And again, it's not because the cops have guns or something, but if you're a passenger, you're involved tangentially. You're not directly involved. Just you're not, unless you're the reason why you were the one that had your head out the out the windows or whatever. But she's right. She's absolutely right here. Is the police officers have a tough job. And I'm not taking that away from it. I don't want to do it. So whenever they come across a car, I can only imagine they have no idea what the hell's in that car or what people are in that car or what those people are willing to do. So it is best if they focus on one thing and one thing only, and they don't have 20 other people giving them shit. Because then a cop basically is like, well, kind of overwhelmed here a little bit. I'm going to have to get him back up or somebody's going to be arrested. I don't agree with that, but I also don't agree with you treating someone who has a very dangerous job like they're your punching bag, verbally or otherwise. So it's all about being respectful, people.
So this girl, she just starts mouthing off, leading the police to ask for her identification. And she's doing that thing where she's just refusing to give the ID for some reason. I don't know why people do this.
She didn't refuse to give the ID. The cop has the ID. Female cop has the ID. The thing is what we'll bring up is the girl is Spanish, and the cop is questioning because what the girl said her last name was different than what was on the ID. It was off slightly. So you'll see the naming come in. You'll see the naming come in.
Again, like, you simply cooperate and it'll probably get you off the hook a lot faster. Like, police are not like trying to arrest 1 million people in a day, if you can believe that. They're not trying to get into these like over the top physical altercations and confrontations. They just want to see your freaking ID. So she's
that isn't necessarily the truth. There are cops out there, like there are in every single profession, that are real assholes and more than happy to arrest people and get fights. Because we see it all the time on YouTube. You can't not find it if you look for it. It happens all the time. You even have judges corrupt in this. I'm not saying all of them. I'm not even saying the majority of them. Probably a vast minority. But it's so tainted. It's so nasty of an idea of a concept that cops are corrupt and judges are corrupt, that people do not trust because they don't know which one is good and which one isn't. So, yeah.
Confusing at first, but they eventually get it, and they find out that the name that she gave them is slightly different than the name on the license, which turns into an issue if you're going to be mouthing off and refusing to cooperate. And I just want to go over exactly how the find out part went about this before I go on to the article that kind of covers this as well.
Your last name? Then you should have told
That is my last name. Samantha Luna is my last name.
What's on your license?
Alonso Luna. My last name is Luna. You know what? My dad isn't my actual dad.
Get out of the car.
Are you happy? No, I'm not getting out of the car. No, I'm not.
You're going to jail.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but like, when the cop tells you to get out of the car, I don't understand why people say, no, I'm not. These people have tasers. They're trained in how to use them. Why do you think they won't use them? Like, we've all been watching what cops do for the last 10 years, right? Why do you think that you can just mouth off and like be completely against the law? So
I'll tell you why, because mouthing off isn't against the law. And if it is, you've got to question your state and talk to your senators. In the UK, there is far more leniency on a citizen behaving in a manner that in the United States would probably get them arrested. Because in the UK, cops are taught how to use their mind and their mouths. They're taught how to de-escalate. They're taught that their weapon is a last resort, not aggression. That aggression is a last resort. Now, I'm sure that there's many situations where they go into instant kung fu mode. I totally understand that. But here, let's look at the environment real quick. You had a small woman inside of a closed vehicle with the window down, and she was barking up a storm, but at no point was she causing an aggressive stance or a threatening position towards the police officer. The police officer was talking calmly, but at no point was the police officer trying to calm this person down. And let's look in the background. The police officer isn't by herself. That person was just standing there, probably like a safety officer, just in case things escalated. You know, they have to be back. I kind of understand those positions that they're going to have to be in, those physical formations. But that female police officer in no way tried to de-escalate her. They knew that she was drinking, did nothing about it. Basically just went from calm, get out of the car, you're arrested. Probably, if she is a seasoned police officer, knew exactly what would happen. That she was aggressive, at least verbally. She was drunk, and chances are she can get him in quite a few different charges against her. And yeah, let's see what happens. But at no point was this girl, this young woman, physically aggressive towards that police officer. And you know what? Sometimes a police officer just has to handle the shit. At the end of the day, that's it. You become a police officer, you got all the stuff to deal with. You just can't arrest your way out of uncomfortableness because you're just unhappy about it. That's not how it should work. You should be de-escalating this as best you can, but at no point did the cop even try.
So here's the thing is like, it's a little bit satisfying when these people end up effing around and finding out. I'm not going to lie, because she's like, nope.
I'm not getting out of the car. You can't make me.
Sounds like a challenge, because let's see what happens next.
My God.
Oh my God.
I don't like seeing
whiplash
this.
just watching that.
I don't like seeing this at all.
Are you happy? No, I'm not getting out of the car.
I'm not getting out of the car.
You're going to. Oh my God. You are.
This girl was in a drunk state. She's not in the right frame of mind. I will almost guarantee you that police officer knew that. I would honestly stake straight up money against that police officer knew what she was going to be able to do to that girl and how that girl would react. I knew it because she's being confrontational. So you get physical with her. She is not in the right state of mind. And now she just got yanked out. She has no idea what's going on. So she's going to go into lizard mode. That lizard part of the brain. She's fight or flight. That's what's happening right now. And this cop knows all this. This cop, if she is trained, knows all of this. And is more than happy to manipulate it to make it look like that this girl is completely wrong.
Going? What?
And she's still pulling away. What do you think is going to happen at this point? Like she's showing you that you're done. This female officer is showing with every ounce of muscle fiber, all of the creatine that she has been putting in her shakes in the morning, that you are indeed getting out of the car. And you think waving around like a wacky, wavy, inflatable arm man is going to get you out of this, girl.
Right, but it ain't going to help. See, now her partner gets involved.
I'm getting it on.
So what's this guy here for? Okay, if she can handle the situation, can handle this girl, supposedly, one way or the other, whether or not, if he's there as a safety, now he's involved. Now you got other people in the car that aren't being monitored. So what was he there for to begin with? Obviously, something's escalated, and he feels like the need to get involved to try to, to get this under control quickly. Well, why didn't he get involved and try to de-escalate it? Right now, the cop, as far as I'm concerned, is absolutely in the wrong. Lost her control, probably lost her shit because this girl was mouthing off to her, and decided she was going to escalate the situation. Why didn't that police officer get involved and stop her? Is he just as naive about her ill behavior as she is?
To jail. You don't get to resist. I told you my license number, you crazy.
This is your chance to invest in
I subscribe to YouTube, but not on this count. All right, here we go.
At this point, what do you think that I gave you my license number is going to do for you? That is, damn, look at this woman's face. Oh, you have definitely effed around.
Well, it's an aggressive situation, so she has to.
She's got you by the hair. Now, this is where some of the mixed opinions come in, because some people believe that this was excessive force.
It was,
Draw
your
own opinion. Here's the reason that you really cannot be resisting with these cops and like fighting back, because they have to assume the worst. They have to, because that's what they deal with, what they're trained to deal with, and what they see all the time is if a person is willing to resist arrest even a little bit, then they're probably willing to kick you, to bite you, to headbutt you in the teeth. So they have to do everything in their power to make sure that you don't do any of those things.
No. Yes and no. Yes, they have to assume the worst. I said that earlier. And when they're in a situation where they are going to have to take a person down and put them under positive control, they have to understand what's possible. But if you had a grandma that was mouthing off to a cop, and that cop had to assume that grandma is going to start kung fu ninjaing him into the ground, do you think he's going to take that grandma down like this girl? No, he's not. So you don't assume all the time. This girl here was mouthing off. That cop decided to create a situation, and she knew what she was, I'll guarantee you she knew what she was doing. That situation did not allow, should not have allowed for it to escalate the way it did. But those cops still, even in these kind of situations, they can gain positive control quickly, then they should still try to de-escalate it. But they don't. They create this abusive position where they put us in, and we don't really have a choice. But I will say this. if you do end up getting on the wrong side of a cop, go down quickly. Whatever the cop says to do, just do it, because you are not in a position where you're going to win. Not then at that moment. So just do whatever they say. It is not a bright move to disobey a cop once it escalates to what we're seeing right now.
A 22-year-old woman who became widely known after a video of her arrest went viral during the annual Oyster Festival in Arcata, California, has pled not guilty to multiple charges. These include resisting arrest and giving incorrect details to the police. The events unfolded on June 16th, 2018. Damn, I can't believe I'm just now seeing this, but the long hand of the law can be slow sometimes. When police from Humboldt State University stopped a car because a passenger was dangerously sticking her head out of the sunroof. Damn, I forgot that that was the reason. But that's a really good reason to pull someone over. Do you guys remember that one video that went viral where someone was sticking their entire body out of the window of a sunroof and then got decapitated by a bridge? Like, y'all, that police officer was just looking out for you.
Let's do something real quick. This is where we get the internet involved.
Like, they were trying to make sure.
How many people have lost their lives sticking their heads out of windows? Out of our power window injuries. It's all power window injuries. A handful of children have died from head injuries after leaning out bus windows. But basically, for the most part, it is negligible. It is literally almost non-existent. Sure, you had one guy got his body chopped off under a bridge. How low is this bridge? Was it a pedestrian bridge and they just drove under it with a car? It just doesn't happen. Car swipes pole. All right, we got one from 2023. Girl two dies after getting her head stuck in a car's power window. Okay. So this dangerous? No. Actually, it's more dangerous to get in that car and get it moving than it is to put your head out the window. I'm not joking. Look at the statistics. How many people die from putting their head out of any window in a moving car? Literally, it's almost non-existent. There is a handful. And now we're not even talking about the power windows, which is there was 33 of those deaths. How many people die in motor accidents? Thousands? Tens of thousands a year? Come on. It's bullshit. That's why you got to argue these points. That's why you got to understand what the facts are.
That you did not literally lose your head. You could have talked your way out of this. That's sure. True. You could have 100%. Been like, I'm so sorry. That was really stupid and reckless of me. Like, if there's like a small disorderly conduct ticket, like I'll take it. Like, I apologize. That was really dumb.
Fair enough.
But y'all decided to argue against that. You decided to fight with the officer for your right to stick your body out of a moving vehicle when we know that people have regularly lost their lives because of this. You really can't fix stupid sometimes, huh? Alonzo Luna, who was not involved at first, was sitting at the front of the vehicle. While her friend was being detained, Alonzo tried to understand what was happening. Do you think that's what she was trying to do? I think that that's a very generous way of putting it. I think that she tried to understand what was happening the same way that that last woman was simply lured out of her marriage. You know what I mean? Her attempts to ask questions created tension with the officers, leading to a physical confrontation. The cops hate it when you impede an investigation, which is exactly what simply asking questions looks like.
What are you doing? Are you allowed to do that? Hey, what's going on?
Cops hate it.
I'm sure it's annoying, but I'm sorry. If you're dealing with people, you're dealing with all the people and all their things. You don't just get to deal with people how you want to. Anybody in the customer service or customer facing industry, anybody that has to deal with other human beings, you don't just deal with the parts of the human beings you want to. Sometimes you deal with all the human beings. So a cop saying, well, they're impeding the investigation. Was it? Because this person has just as much right to protect their friend as you do as a police officer have a right to question the friend. Now, I understand it isn't always the same. Why can't you ask questions? A police officer comes up to a car full of people. You come up to a car full of people, not just these little toy soldiers that are going to sit there and shut the fuck up. No, cops get trained in this. They get trained in talking to humans. The problem in America is it's optional for American cops, or at least it seems to be.
Get out of the way, mind your business, okay? Because they will not hesitate. Videos captured by witnesses showed the dramatic scene as officers forced Alonzo Luna to the ground. Several police personnel were seen trying to restrain her. See, it should not take more than one to restrain you. Like, that's called resisting arrest, okay? By the time 3 different people are on top of you, I think the arrest has been resisted. Her lawyer, William G. Panzer, described the incident saying, "One officer just opened the door, pulled my client out, and said she was going to jail."
That is what happened. We saw the video.
She was
Simply asking questions.
and then they just suddenly pull her out and arrested her.
If you look at how 2 humans, the dynamics between humans in conversation, that's exactly what happened. Like I said, the officer was calm. Whatever happened inside that officer, she just lost her shit. He said, "All right, get the fuck out. You're being arrested." Instead of trying to de-escalate, remember that cop, as far as we could see in the evidence we have, that cop at no point tried to de-escalate that situation. Just went calm, let her just flare off. Now he said, "Nah, fuck it, I'm in." And then attacked. That was it. I mean, the video's right there. You can't deny this shit.
Man, it's a good thing those friends recorded to try and help, because it just
I think she did.
proved she was absolutely wrong. His comments raised concerns about how forceful the arrest was. Yeah, she really deserved a nice, gentle arrest. After the incident, Alonzo Luna was charged with several misdemeanors, including public intoxication and assaulting police officers. I guess we should have assumed she was drunk, but the fact that she was absolutely wasted probably did not help either. I don't exactly know how public intoxication can be charged. For the most part, people don't really mind if you are drunk at a public area. I think it becomes a problem if, like, I guess she didn't get charged with open intox, but being wasted while trying to fight a cop, they're definitely going to try and throw everything they can at you. During her court appearance on November 5th, she pled not guilty to all 7 charges. One major issue brought...
Cops wanted to charge her. Cops knew what was happening. Cop got in there when the girl was drunk, knowing there would probably be some issues, knowing that she can just start tacking on the charges. Cops need to be right. They can't be fucking up. So you tack on as many charges as you possibly can, scare a person into a plea deal. I'm not joking. 7 charges for what we saw. When you had a cop who was the authority, remember that. Was the authority. Did nothing to even try to deal with this behavior. She reacted to the behavior. 7 charges.
Brought up was her name. She told police her last name was Luna. Authorities later claimed she gave false details because her full name is Samantha Carolina Alonzo Luna. And I don't know how I feel about that one. I feel like that one is like, okay, you guys are nitpicking at this point, because technically saying my last name is Luna, her attorney argued she wasn't trying to lie. He explained that it's common for people of Latino heritage to use part of their name, especially when both parents' surnames are involved. It's not about hiding anything. Many Latinos don't use their full legal names in daily life. Oh, so they're trying to pull the race card. Well, then it's a very good thing that one of the men arresting her was also brown. I think that should also have some play here. Panzer...
That really didn't have anything to do with it. I don't know if that's true or not. Do young Latino people, if you had a young Latino person and you asked their name, and you had an old Latino person, you asked their name, would they give, if they had, let's say they had the exact same name, would they give different answers? What would happen if this person was talking to an elderly person? Would they give a different answer than they give to their friend that's young? Would your parent call you something different than your grandparent or your friend or your brother or your cousin? Who knows? So in this situation, what would a young Latino woman give as a response to a police officer, a person in authority? I don't have a damn clue. And I'd give my name as blah, 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 blah. Give it all. Ain't gonna care. Giving it all. But I don't know.
Also,
this ain't a race card thing. This might be a racial thing, but it's best that we understand this versus just dismissing it as, they're just using the brown card. No.
His concerns about how the district attorney's office handled the matter. It seems like a misunderstanding of cultural naming traditions, which could have racial undertones. He added that names reflect personal identity and culture and should be treated with respect.
You have to know it to treat it with respect. And racial undertones, what does that mean? Because you had a blonde-haired white woman that was a cop, all of a sudden it's a racist matter? No, it could be an ignorance matter. The cop could be extremely ignorant on it. But I think Dadvocate had it right. The cop was nitpicking on, saw that the person was drunk, acting up, being a bit of a shit, seeing how far they can go with it. I think the cop instigated this entire thing. I'm not saying that girl shouldn't be mouthing off like that, but at the end of the day, she was inside a closed vehicle with the window down. What kind of threat was she? The other person had already said in the report, in the article, that the other person was already detained by the police. So why is the cop standing there? The cop is standing there talking to this girl because she knows that she can escalate it. And she did it by being passive about the situation. And then she finally had enough. That police officer did that. That whole scene was because of the police officer. Keep going.
You know who should be treated with respect? Officers of the law. So why does your unique Latino heritage suddenly deserve all the respect in the world?
That's not what happened.
You have to give your license to the police officer. You have to give your full government name to the police officer, no matter how brown you are. Okay?
Maybe she didn't know this.
I'm sorry.
If the police officer has requirements, the police officer should make it very clear what those requirements are. I think it was General Powell said during the first Gulf War, I can't remember where he said, he goes, the greatest, I'm ad-libbing here, the greatest failure of a leader is to not make their intent clear. In other words, if you lead someone, if you control someone, if you are in a position of authority and you don't make clear your intentions, then you are failing those below you. This cop might or might not have made their intentions known, but you don't expect a person to give their full name if they ever ask, well, what's your name? Now, if they said, what is your full name? Somebody says Luna. I said, no, I need all of it. Fair enough.
So far, the Alameda County District Attorney has not issued a public statement regarding these concerns. A civil lawsuit alleging police used too much force and made a wrongful arrest is expected after the criminal case ends. This might prompt wider conversations about how police should behave during arrests and how communities are treated. There's our girl. What a mugshot,
She's
dog.
got a little,
what happened to her face right here?
That's weird. Where'd that come from?
You think that's like a bruise? Like, she definitely looks like she got smacked against the ground. And she's loving it. She thinks this is all a joke. This is the face of someone who is like peak entitled. Like,
all right. Everybody take a quick second. You've been arrested. You're going to go get a mug shot. Say you're in a small town, everybody knows you. Do you do a mug shot of you with a grimace? Do you do a mug shot of you smiling? All right. I would do a smile. And the whole reason why I do a smile, because if you do a grimace, you look guilty. You're a criminal. If you do it like this, you're just an idiot. Personally, I'd rather look like an idiot than a criminal. She looks like a dickhead for smiling after all that shit happened. Like, that's not a happy situation. Are you smiling now because you and the cop had a quick I'm sorry's? No, because it's going to be in a court of law and everything you say can be held against blah, blah, blah. So she's a dickhead. I don't know if she feels entitled. I don't know anything about it.
It's crazy how she's so Latino and yet has all of the average entitlement of a white woman. Her rich Latino culture did not stop her from having all of the like white knight rights she thinks that she's entitled to thinking that she absolutely can just...
I can't be part of that, responding to that, because to me that's just assumption, and I try not to. I know I assume it's in this whole video, but I try to do it as a little as possible, as lightly as possible, and try to keep to the truth of the facts or what we see. Even if I know nothing, I want to explain to you why I know nothing and, move on from there.
Duck every other part of the law, dude. This is so annoying, though. Like, I hate when dumbass, wasted people who are acting absolute fools on the road where you should be acting with complete safety.
And
the
control.
road is not a place to have your freaking races, hanging your body out the window, acting a drunk ass fool. That's a place where you need to be respecting everyone around you, because motor vehicle accidents account for such a great majority of deaths in our country.
True.
And yet they want to compare themselves to George Floyd. They want to act like they were doing like absolutely nothing wrong. And
It's just because I'm dark-skinned.
when literally the majority of the officers correcting her behavior were also dark.
Nobody corrected her behavior. Let's make that very clear. At no point was her behavior being corrected, dressed.
Skinned. I don't think I ever was able to find out how the case ended. I'm sure she didn't walk away with full charges. Let me see. Oh, wow. So this is the update. Samantha Luna case resolution is a slap in the face to local law enforcement. Samantha Luna resolved her case on April 5th, 2022 with 7 misdemeanor counts with an informal diversion. Today, she successfully completed the terms of her diversion and her case was dismissed. What is an informal diversion? Let's find out together. Informal diversion in the context of the criminal justice system means an alternative to formal prosecution where a case is kept out of court and the offender is supervised informally, often for a set period with the possibility of avoiding a criminal record upon successful completion. I'm not too mad about that. It sounds
No, because that's exactly what I was hoping would happen. That right there is the law saying, we fucked up, sorta. You take this, we'll let this go. And it was dismissed. It was taken out of court. Had to do a little bit of, I don't know, guidance, counseling. So this is exactly what should have happened. But that's not what the article wants to say. What the article says.
her case on April.
There it goes. Is a slap in the face to local law enforcement. So obviously whoever did this article is very pro-law enforcement, very much against her. But we saw the video. The law enforcement slapped themselves in the face. Now, I'll explain why. If you're married and you cheat on your spouse, what is the likely outcome? You're going to get a divorce. Why? Because you deserve it. You don't have respect for the relationship. You did wrong. The result was a direct reflection of the cause. Here, the result is a direct reflection of the cause. The law enforcement did wrong. The courts, we trust the courts, would not have accepted this unless they saw that the law enforcement didn't have a fucking leg to stand on or had very little. And they would have had to push hard, which the district attorney probably didn't want to have anything to do with. After seeing that video, after seeing the whole thing, maybe they were like, he barked a lot, but she didn't deserve that. This saying, that was what I'm telling you, that was it. The judge would not have accepted it unless he thought it was fair as well.
Where a case is kept out of court and the offender is supervised informally, often for a set period with the possibility of avoiding a criminal record upon successful completion. I'm not too mad about that. It sounds like she still faced a consequence. It's not like she completely got off scot-free. And they did slam her face into the concrete. So I would overall rate this case a bronze medal in the effing around and finding out case.
Yeah. I think that the punishment, honestly, her just getting slammed on the ground is enough punishment for me, but the punishment fit the crime. Misdemeanor charges, all 7. I think she just, the lawyer said, run with it. Her lawyer said, fucking run with this. Just go. Just shake their hands, say thank you, and get the hell out the door. Yeah.
I would definitely say she was certainly effed around. She certainly found out.
100%.
It could have been worse.
Yes.
But consequences were definitely faced.
Thank you all very much for joining me and watching Dadvocate. I do like watching her videos, and every once in a while, I just feel maybe a second opinion is deserved. In this case, I believe a second opinion was deserved. But we all have our opinions, don't we? Thank you very much. I know it's been a little while on Mandemic. I was focusing on my Population Uno channel, but I might end up merging them all into Mandemic and do video games and do all this kind of stuff here as well as on Twitch. But it's in the process. We'll see how it goes. Thank you all. Again, like, subscribe, send me some, messages, leave some comments, share, catch me on Twitch. You all have a great day. Thank you very much.